Don't fly over that snowy mountain. Don't go.
Yeah, if we get tracked any missiles, we're dead.
The trick to dodging the missile summit
It's
is
diving.
obviously you gotta fly like perpendicular to them, but you don't even gotta dive that hard. You just gotta like be on like a, you gotta like be ever increasing
Horizontal.
your acceleration. Does that make sense? Because if you stay at the same acceleration, they'll track it.
I gotcha. This is the compound in front of us, right? We can fly over it without missiles or without guns or no?
Yeah, we just don't have guns now. That's all. There's no missiles.
Also, Jared, I would like to say this because it happened to me earlier. It was the reason why I crashed the heli. Make sure you're high up in the sky. I wasn't, and a base spawned right in front of me, and I blew up into it.
Oh, wow,
So
I
make
didn't
sure you're
render.
high enough. Yeah, so make sure you're high enough to where even if a base doesn't render, you don't run into it
this
and
big
blow
ass one down
yourself.
below us just is rendering
Yeah,
slow
imagine
as
if it
fuck.
was like 20 stories
That
high.
is literally the base.
Oh,
What
anyways.
is Foundland?
Oh, that's the guy that logged
The
off
one
on
with
us.
the
It's not telling
windmills.
me. Fuck.
You want me to...
Why didn't it tell me, dude? Yeah, I want to go around or go back.
Wait, what are we doing?
He's low, straight ahead of us.
Okay.
Nope.
Underneath us now, Touch, you see him?
Yeah, I see him.
Gonna go down to like U-21. I remember that being a big zone.
Fucking shoot that, dude. So annoying.
Wow, it's a big ass base down there.
Yeah, well, that's super rateable, but it won't give me a fucking reading. Not these guys. No reading. Maybe I have to get closer. Maybe there's a range limit or something. I want to check these bases
Someone's
down here.
shooting back at us.
Online.
No, it's Bosch and I.
Not enough, not enough players.
Okay, that was a no-go. That's a good target, though. We need to remember that one. That's a good target.
There's another good target. There's another good target. To our right, U-18 is a big ass, like a ginormous base, but it doesn't look like they.
Down on the left.
It won't give me any readings. So it's annoying as fuck. Which one?
Oh, that's a
It's
real
like
base.
a PvE thing.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's cool though. Whatever that thing is. Nice flying though. You're doing good.
Thanks, man.
Kind of owning right now, dude.
Well, look at this little train of us.
Just chilling. Oh, look at this. Yeah.
Where are they at, Bosch?
Or
There's someone on that?
Train tracks.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Let's get them, boys. We're coming over.
I can't see him right now.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of wanted to get some level, and I
Oh,
put our
you're
nose
doing
up
good.
too
I
much.
just don't see him. It's whatever. It's going towards the launch site. We can't chase that. Just move.
You saw that save, boss? You saw that save?
Yep.
Let's just find somewhere to farm real quick.
Yeah, let's go
All right.
snow. Let's go snow.
To the snow.
Okay.
Snow north is crazy good, yeah.
Go north around the launch site.
Man, flying a helicopter is hella
look at right
fun,
here.
dude.
Look at right here. Look at right here.
It's my favorite fucking thing in Rust. When they like helicopters change the entire game, and you know they're kind of OP.
Oh, I
when you
think those
about
are
it,
all
damn, it's fun, dude.
stone.
But they're like a big investment that you lose so real easily.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but the amount of gain that you can have with a good pilot, whew, next level.
Yeah, and helicopters are just like a whole. Like, they're like.
There's a helicopter
they
up
can
in
make your
our. I don't know if
production
that's them.
times
Is that them?
faster, dude. That's them. That's them.
Uh-oh.
You good, you good. Pretty big base loading in there. That's a chonker, dude. Holy shit.
Watch out, don't fly over that place. Oh yeah, you guys are to our right, actually.
We're okay, right?
We're along the coast checking shit out. Yeah, we're chilling, dude.
Look at this base. Oh, that's a yacht.
That's a boat, yeah.
Or not a yacht.
Some of their custom monuments are cool. Who made these, I wonder?
I don't know, actually. I wonder what kind of guy Cole's got on his team to be doing that
I
stuff.
thought it was.
really
I
well
know
done.
Mendo did a lot.
Mendo did some
make all
custom
of this?
work?
No shot.
Yeah, I know Mendo did some coding.
Oh shit, okay, get ready to dive, something. Stay away from that base.
I'm
Stay
diving,
away
I'm
from that
diving, I'm
base.
diving, yeah.
You're good, you're good, you're good. There's a guy shooting at us, though. You need to get out of here.
You know when you start seeing
You're
those,
good,
Bosh.
you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
I can't see him. He's there behind
Yeah,
us
we're
somewhere.
fucking chilling, baby.
Yeah, we're looking for nodes right now.
Oh, there's a shit ton of nodes. Sulfur.
Is that sulfur down there to our left?
Straight below us is sulfur.
Mendo did a bunch, so did Buddha, I heard, or someone said.
Wow, that's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, 2 sulfurs just straight ahead. To our left a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, I just want to find a value of crazy shit, and so we just land and then go grab it all.
Yeah, we're going to here somewhere in the snow. Snow's always the dankness.
There's one where we landed as well.
Alright, there's no one on at that base to our right, so we're good to farm here.
I think like just straight ahead, more to the right along the coast, like should find something.
Grab
like
all
that.
sulfur and metal, Bosh.
Yeah, this is my new favorite thing about Rust that might make me stay around the game longer, I'll be honest. It's so fucking cool to find
Dude, it's
helicopter.
awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Wait till
it's one of
you
the
get in
best
heli
things they ever
fights,
added.
Jared. Wait till you and him get in heli fights. Now that's where it gets wild.
Yeah, dog fights are legit.
Dude, they're so sick.
I'm not seeing like a concentration of sulfur over here. Oh shit. Good shot from that base in the window. In the big base. We're good though, we're good.
Yeah, if there were SAMs on that, we were dead.
So a tip is if the back of your heli is facing somebody, they usually can't shoot you. They can't shoot you through the back of it. It's like a fucking invincible shield. Well, it kind of blows
Coming back
ass
down,
at
Bosh. I'll pick you up, Bosh. You
Oh
keep looking.
shit, this is the fucking, what's it called?
Oh.
Well, we should stay low, right?
Yeah, there's SAMs over there. Careful, just stay low along the water here. Oh.
Attaboy, Jared.
We're good, don't worry. We're good. I got a little worried, so I pulled up a little fast. Oh my god, sorry, I saw the fucking casino and freaked, man.
You're good, the SAMs are pretty far uphill from it.
Wait, so did they get custom work done for the casino or something, or they just made a shit ton off of people?
Let's loop back through the snow, Jared, like straight east.
Okay.
We're just gonna be careful of that, whatever base has SAMs over there, but we should be fine. We can hit the bottom of the snow there and see if there's
Right over here, Bosh. I see a bunch.
Yeah, I see him as well.
One node hunt right now. Not seeing it.
Oof. I'm scared, chat.
Oh shit, Sam, turn. Get ready to dive. Oh, you're right over it, Summit. Oh, no.
We're dead.
You're fine. Just
we about to die?
No, you're good. Alright, so if you turn us around again, you'll see the base and we can go around it.
Okay, well, we get control of the thing.
You're good.
Well, there's a lot of sulfur on us if you want to come to us.
Hey, where do I not go through again?
Let's go to them. Go around the coast to them. They said there's a lot of sulfur.
Yeah, there's like 20 nodes.
We'll just go down the coast again?
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Should be safe. Fly past the casino.
Came up here with a jacket. This is where I got the 22k in like 20 minutes.
Where am I?
With a jacket.
This is wild.
Bang, bang, bang.
How do I not know
If
where
you're
I'm
trying
at?
to turn sharp, definitely pointing the nose down will help, but it's the thing is you gotta correct back.
Where the fuck am I? I literally can't. There we are. I see us.
You can just press focus top left, Jared, if you need to know where you are, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the focus top left, you press that, it will go straight to where your cursor is, or where your marker is on the map.
Dumb. Okay. They thought of everything in this fucking game, didn't they?
Yeah,
this game's pretty fucking complete, dude.
I see them.
A lot of good bases out here, though. A lot of like good targets.
Mm-hmm. How much sulfur you got right now, Bosh?
I'll tell you in a sec.
I got about 6k.
This one is probably so stupid. Like, this is so dumb. The bouncing one, like, why would you ever use this?
Show them what we got.
It's actually good. Tasmanian perk, is it good?
Oh my god, look at you.
Scratching my nose.
One for blue.
Oh, fuck.
One for blue. Take this, you dig dog.
Oh, fuck.
One for blue.
Oh, fuck.
We're a good dev team.
Dudes, I mean, they got the most unique game on the market without a doubt. There's nothing even comes close to this. I mean, there are things that try to mimic it, right? Conan Exiles, Ark, but this thing has just got so many good quality of life updates. Rust since the beginning since I played. So many good quality of life updates.
Jump in, Bosch.
It has the most complete building and rating
There's like fucking
experience and
shit.
like
Just let me
progression.
finish these notes. I got like, there's like.
Oh, that's not you. That's anything. Where are you at? I'm looking. I'm coming.
Oh, train passing by, boys.
And this game has consistently been putting out like
Solid updates.
once a month, fucking forever.
Yeah, I'm very, very impressed by how far their game has come. I mean, I remember the day it was on a browser, you know what I mean? So, you know, realistic guys, if you think about it, all we're out here doing is fixing Bosch's mistake that he made from losing 24,000 sulfur to that one guy. So
This is a
The
fact.
fuck? How's that fixing my mistake?
it's literally out here just trying to fix, you know, all the fucking shit he lost.
Yeah, Ark has better PvE, but
Fucking
I don't
sleeping
know.
on that for a while. I haven't shit on.
Putting this and Ark in the same mouth should be a fucking war crime, bro. This and Ark is so different, man.
No, because the same base building mechanics were mimics, so you can't say it's completely different. But yeah, they did do their own little variation.
I
of
mean,
it.
bro,
I just don't
last
think.
time I
just think
played-
I'm not even talking. I'm not even like trying to compare apples to oranges in that sense. I'm just saying that like. When it comes to an open world survival building game, we can just make it like that, plain and simple. Rust absolutely does it the best. When it comes to and because of all the updates that they do to it are incredible.
I agree. I agree with that. Rust is more
They've constantly given
I
you
think
more
Ark
things to
has
do in this
huge
game. You know what I mean?
good things about it, but
Yeah.
And fun
So
things and
I
unique
wish,
things, bro. Bro, we have a computer station at our fucking house right now that has
Yeah.
that looks at cameras on the game, dude. It's
Yeah.
bonkers.
yeah, it's pretty
And on the train, have you seen it on the train? It's all moving and shit. Looks crazy on the game, dude. It's
Yeah.
bonkers.
Yeah, bro. Is there
And on the
down here, Bosch,
train,
or
have
no?
you seen it? They have a fucking alarm system that goes to your fucking your cell phone in real life. Like, that's some seriously cool shit that you get tossed in your game. Man.
Wait. What did you say? They have that?
Offline rating in real life, right? It's
Yeah,
a thing, or in real Rust, I
You
should say.
have to have, like, you have to actually have an electrical setup, and you have to like set up a thing for it to trigger off of, whether it's like a laser or a turret firing or other things like that. But you can trigger it to like text you and be like, "Yo, motherfucker, you get raided."
Yeah,
That's
Kinda
pretty cool.
go for more sulfur here.
Bosch, you're gonna piss him off. Better watch. He'll turn around and laser us both.
Alright, Jeremy, you can come, like, pretty much grab me. I just want to
I'm
grab
here, baby.
probably just one more thing. I'm good.
There's one up here. I want to land at it. Up left. One sulfur up here.
Yeah, okay. You can drive us home, and then I'll drive us back again to do another run. Or if we even want to do another run, it's up to you guys.
I'm down for
Bro,
them.
why not, man? We're chilling. I'm enjoying practicing flying, to be honest. I love, you know me, I love this shit.
Let's go.
That jackhammer is crazy.
The jackhammer, and it
It's
breaks
so
a lot.
clutch.
It breaks down. It doesn't break as fast as I thought it would on nodes.
Yeah.
It fucking holds
We
out
got
on
to take it
nodes.
off. Don't hit me. Yeah, we're good. Which way is base?
We're southwest.
Look out, team. I'm going right.
I'm just following you, man. Don't put me in turrets. That's all I ask.
I'm just, yeah, these bases are kind of rendering slow, and I'm scared of Sam's
I got
sites.
8K sulfur, and like probably about the same. In the,
We probably got about 30k sulfur between all of us, I think.
I only got 8K myself.
I got 8.
I got 8. I got 8
Yeah.
There it is.
All of us, all
Oh,
three of us
fuck.
had jackhammers.
Okay, we're good.
for between all of us, I think.
I only got 8K
No, we had
myself.
ice pick.
I got 8.
I got
Okay,
8.
I have
Oh.
fucking
I got
music
8.
on, and I need you to yell missiles if you hear the missiles going.
Yeah. You're fine.
Bosh, we're gonna get a little bit higher. He's more of a crackhead than us.
You're good. You got this, man. You're chilling.
That is right, chat. Get on his ass for not flying. Let him know.
Oh yeah, the bet. That's true.
Oh, because
Are
of
you
the
gonna fly
bet.
from now on?
Ah, fuck. Okay, I was just being
Sorry,
nice because I know
Chad.
you like to fly, so I was just letting you do some shit.
Yeah. I kind of was.
I'm
like,
just fucking with you guys, man.
Whatever.
I don't give a fuck. Someone in my chat said, "Tell Summit that we have millions of points on the line."
Good shit, good shit, good shit. Okay, we needed
Let me
that.
out of here.
Where are we at? Oh, it's to our right.
We're right, yeah. You can see our neighbor's airplane or helicopter.
I got enough.
Yeah, we need to build a little landing spot on our house for sure. Let me pull this a little farther forward.
We're good now.
You can take all of it over to the Love Shack,
This is
and then we'll just cook it over there,
stacking
so we don't
together, but-
mix it with anything else, Bosh. I left those doors open, make sure you close them. Bro, the base has gotten even bigger. Holy fuck.
What's the keybinds?
It was 50,000. Wow.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, but if
He has crazy bail conditions.
if
though.
I do any crime, I go back, except for speeding. Any crime. If I have a weapon of any sort on me, I go back.
I say
Alcohol, drugs, celibacy.
we C4 Wrangler's car.
Wait, I have to say celibate?
Yeah. Yes.
What?
What do you? That That's why I said I shouldn't be in the same car as you.
Hey everybody, Rob Mauer here.
We're not allowed to erp. No, we're not.
Welcome back to Tesla Daily. Today we are going to be talking about new comments from Hertz CEO about how well integrating Teslas into their fleet has gone so far. We've also got news on Giga Shanghai, an update on FSD Beta 10.13, a new interview from Sandy Munro of Ford's exec team. We'll talk about the highlights of that, and we'll take a look at the week ahead. Well, you hardly know it by where it finished, but bumpy day for Tesla stock today, finishing up just 38 cents after being up more than $38 earlier in the day to close at $891.83. The Nasdaq was down 0.2% on the day today. Quick look at the broader economic calendar. We do have a few economic reports coming this week, but the big ones will be next week with the CPI Consumer Price Index and PPI Producer Price Index coming on Wednesday and Thursday mornings, respectively. Plenty going on this week with Tesla, with of course the annual shareholder meeting on Thursday. If you have not yet voted, you still have time to do that, and you can now also vote on questions for the shareholder meeting that has now been opened up on SafeTechnologies.com. I definitely think we can do a little bit better than some of the top questions that we see in there right now. There's one about stock split. Of course, we'll find out more about that in the meeting that is voting on the possibility of stock split. There's one about how Tesla intends to use cash. Maybe that could be for buybacks or dividends. Tesla answered this explicitly a few months back. Zach Kirkhorn had said at the time that, quote, I think we have to take this one step at a time. We have investments that are happening right now to get Austin and Berlin up and running, and then as Elon mentioned, installing capacity for robotaxi production. And there's some decisions that, as Elon alluded to, just to share in the future, about what the economic model looks like Austin and Berlin up and running, and then as Elon mentioned, installing capacity for robotaxi production. And there's some decisions that, as Elon alluded to, just to share in the future, about what the economic model looks like for robotaxis. So our focus is to get to the point where robotaxis are on the road, Optimus is in use, get the economic model for that dialed in, and then evaluate the size of cash flows at that point, and make decisions then as to what's next. End quote. So we are not yet at that point. We are not going to get a different answer on that question. Anyway, you can vote on those questions, and then something kind of fun here too. Tesla is finally going to be launching photos into space from the referral program. They've given people the opportunity to earn the possibility of having a photo included on a SpaceX launch. Tesla's put all those photos together into a mosaic that looks like the Roadster being launched into space, and all those photos are scheduled to be launched on August 4th as well. So not necessarily tied directly into the shareholder meeting, but same day, and pretty cool to see that finally happening. I will be coming down to Austin for the shareholder meeting, so hopefully we'll get a chance to see some of you there. I don't anticipate that really impacting the recording schedule too much this week, but always a little bit up in the air when there is traveling involved. So shareholder meeting this week, and then next week on top of the CPI report, we should get China numbers for July as well. Now obviously we expect these to be significantly down from June because of the production shutdowns that Tesla had during the month. That's completely expected. I'm somewhere around 40,000 in terms of my expectations. Anywhere plus or minus 2,000 around that, I wouldn't be too surprised. Anything above 40,000 I think shows that Tesla has been able to restart production relatively quickly and is hitting a good rate of production on the Model Y after that upgrade. We do have a little bit of information on that from Wuwa today in a video over the weekend. Wuwa in the description noted that, quote, according to the news, the capacity of the second phase reached 1,000 cars per shift per day, and the capacity of 2 shifts a day was as high as 2,000 units, end quote. So we've had a variety of reports on what this production rate is going to end up after this upgrade. I'm not sure we even know that Tesla fully knows right now, but I think what we can expect for sure is for Tesla to get to a combined rate between Model Y and Model 3 above 20,000 per week after both upgrades are complete. Remember, we still have to wait till August 8th for Model 3. This weekend I updated my model for all the things that we now know about China and the downtime of the production rates, and then everything that we learned from Q2. That'll be posted for annual subscribers on ShareLoft tonight. The other tidbit that we have out of China is from Kelvin Yang on Twitter, who's sharing that the CPCA has announced that auto supply chain and vehicle production have fully recovered from the lockdowns in Q2. Given Tesla's record production in June, not very surprising, but good to see a report there that also includes the supply chain and its progress. Hopefully that persists now that we have Tesla coming off of these production upgrades, and we can see Shanghai truly producing at a 1 million vehicle per year run rate. Perhaps somewhat relatedly, and of course with the stock price appreciation that we've seen, remember last month of about 33% or so, Elon Musk on Friday commented on Twitter, heat wave in Shortville. Of course there have been heat waves in many areas, maybe Elon just doing some wordplay off of that, just kind of commenting on what has happened in hindsight. It doesn't necessarily mean anything going forward, but it could, and probably not something that Elon would tweet if he didn't feel good about where things are heading from here. Right, next up we got Elon Musk on Friday at a 1 million vehicle per year run rate. Perhaps somewhat relatedly, and of course with the stock price appreciation that we've seen, remember last month of about 33% or so, Elon Musk on Friday commented on Twitter, heat wave in Shortville. Of course there have been heat waves in many areas, maybe Elon just doing some wordplay off of that, just kind of commenting on what has happened in hindsight. It doesn't necessarily mean anything going forward, but it could, and probably not something that Elon would tweet if he didn't feel good about where things are heading from here. Right, next up we got some pretty interesting comments from Hertz CEO on their earnings call. They talked a lot about how the integration of Teslas into their fleet is going so far. Of course this was huge news last year in Q4 when Hertz had announced that they ordered 100,000 Teslas. On the call, Hertz CEO announced that they are currently at about 20,000 EVs, most of which would be Teslas, noting that deliveries are obviously ongoing. There were quite a few questions on how this is going so far. It's obviously a big deal for Hertz's business, and overall they were very positive and gave quite a few examples of where they're seeing the benefit of having Teslas in their fleet. First, the CEO pointed out that customers are enjoying the Tesla EV experience, which is being expressed in Net Promoter Scores, or NPS scores, that are 10 points higher than their global average. And remember, this is with customers that are potentially new to electric vehicles, new to Teslas, maybe have never dealt with charging an electric vehicle, maybe have never dealt with an operating system like Tesla's is, and despite having maybe a little bit of an education burden, are still having very positive experiences. Now, to be fair, Hertz overall NPS is apparently negative 31, so I guess that's a relatively low bar to clear and add 10 points too. But obviously, the entirety of the NPS score isn't based solely on the vehicle that you're using. There's a lot of other things that go into running a car. They also didn't go into a ton of details there, like if they were qualifying that against other more premium cars or not. So it's tough to say exactly how positive that is, but they were a little bit more clear on some other things. They say specifically on maintenance, this one's huge. Quote, we are running kind of 50 to 60% of what maintenance costs are on ICE vehicles. That's roughly in line with where we are. If there's any one surprise, it's probably slightly higher expense on tires, but not much more, and that's embedded in the figure I'm giving you. So I'd say overall we are very pleased with the results. End quote. Obviously, in fleet conditions like this, you're going to learn about maintenance requirements more quickly, but that being said, it is still relatively new, so things on that line could change over time. But it sounds like Hertz is very happy with what they're seeing early on. They also had positive comments to say on anticipated residual values, lower depreciation than expected, saying, quote, on depreciation, we originally pegged depreciation rate to an ICE vehicle, as Steve mentioned. Right now, based on early inning data, we are seeing the depreciation rate on EVs being lower than ICE vehicles, so as we underwrite the business case with new data, we're even more confident with the economics of EVs. End quote. So overall, positive comments, not really any negative comments in there that I saw from Hertz on how this is going so far. That's good in terms of them converting on their order. It's also good in terms of what it tells the rest of the industry, which you know are reading these calls, understanding what is going on with their competitors' businesses. Hertz is very clearly laying out the case here for the commercial business case for EVs, which I think has been clear to us for a long time, but sadly a lot of those decision makers maybe not listening to Tesla Daily for the last 5 years. And remember, this is before we even start to talk about anything really related to autonomous driving. On that topic, we did get a small update from Elon Musk on this on Friday. He said that FSD Beta 10.13 is probably a week or so away, and that people outside of California will notice improvements the most. So that's exciting for me in Wisconsin. I'll definitely be able to put that to the test. Right, next we had a little bit of a rumor going around on Tesla and Idra. This was coming from Chris Young. I'm not sure where he was reporting this from, but on Twitter, reporting that Tesla's GigaPress supplier Idra would be replaced by Switzerland's Blue next year. So red flag on this, don't know where the original source was coming from. Chris Young before has reported about China's insurance numbers coming in as deliveries, left off a couple days, like inaccurate reporting. So definitely not a report that I'm trusting here to be accurate and complete. And somebody on Twitter just questioned this and said it wouldn't really make sense, and Chris Young quote tweeted it and said, nice correction, Tesla introduced Blue as a secondary supplier but will not cancel the cooperation with Idra. So didn't really take much questioning to end up with a very different report. That one makes a lot more sense. Keeping your suppliers competitive with each other can lead to more innovation within the supply chain, possibly better leverage on cost, just better leverage in general, builds in some potential redundancy, de-risks you if something happens to one of the suppliers. A lot of benefits to doing that, which would make it make sense and not even necessarily be any type of reflection on Idra or their capabilities or constraints or anything like that. Remember the Monroe video with Idra, they said, hey, we've got a lot of room here, we can do more. So I think if this were accurate, which again, we don't necessarily know that it is, but if it were accurate, I think it would be more of those other reasons. All right, last couple of things here for for today. First, we've got an interview from Sandy Monroe and Corey at Monroe Associates of Ford's exec team. They dropped off a Ford F-150 Lightning that Monroe had ordered, and they did about a 45-minute interview as well. Pretty interesting to get some insight from Ford on what they're thinking at this point in time. We obviously know how Sandy feels about what's happening in the industry. Ford was very supportive of the work that Sandy has done and some of the flag flags that he has raised. I think for the most part, the interview reflected relatively positively on Ford. I think my basis for comparison there is probably GM, and I continue to believe that Ford is just doing a much better job at both tactically moving towards what they need to move towards and actually properly communicating those things. But again, those are pretty low bars. But I think they did it. They talked a lot about how they've really kind of rethought Ford and really focused in on the things that they think that they're good at, which really is the truck industry. They talked about their ambitious target of 2 million electric vehicles in just 3.5 years from now, and how much work needs to be done just in terms of capacity to get there. They weren't concerned really about the product and needing to drive demand. It was more focused on production, which I'd like to see. So just the general feel of the interview was pretty interesting. In terms of specific callouts to take away, Sandy did ask what was the biggest challenge for Ford in bringing the F-150 Lightning to production. Jim Farley replied saying, quote, I would say the biggest challenge for our team Edison, when we formed it 4 years ago, was credibility within the company. We had people who weren't sure that an electric F-150 would work, and if it did, if it was less profitable, why would we want to sell a lot of them? End quote. This is the exact question that we've talked about so many times that has been so difficult for OEMs to even start to overcome. On one hand, it's good to see the recognition and acknowledgement of was credibility within the company. We had people who weren't sure that an electric F-150 would work, and if it did, if it was less profitable, why would we want to sell a lot of them? End quote. This is the exact question that we've talked about so many times that has been so difficult for OEMs to even start to overcome. On one hand, it's good to see the recognition and acknowledgement of that, but on the other hand, you know that there's some subset of Ford that still kind of has that mentality, that culture, which in subtle ways is going to be a little bit harmful in terms of making the progress that they want to and need to make. So I thought that comment was pretty interesting and insightful. Another one that was interesting, Sandy had asked if they thought about using Tesla's charging connector, as it seems to be quite superior in many ways to other connectors that we've seen. Doug Field, their chief EV engineer, of course, ex-Tesla, he said that we think about everything and, quote, we're working really hard to figure out all the things we can do on public charging to make it better, including that, end quote. So yeah, probably still an extreme long shot that Ford would ever use a Tesla connector, but they didn't completely shut down that idea, so I'd be very surprised, but maybe some very Doug Field, their chief EV engineer, of course, ex-Tesla, he said that we think about everything and, quote, we're working really hard to figure out all the things we can do on public charging to make it better. We have seen most pretty still kind of has that mentality, that culture, which in subtle ways is going to be a little bit harmful in terms of making the progress that they want to and need to make. So I thought that comment was pretty interesting and insightful. Another one that was interesting, Sandy had asked if they thought about using Tesla's charging connector, as it seems to be quite superior in many ways to other connectors that we have seen. Doug Field, their chief EV engineer, of course, ex-Tesla, he said that we think about everything and, quote, we're working really hard to figure out all the things we can do on public charging to make it better, including that, end quote. So yeah, probably still an extreme long shot that Ford would ever use a Tesla connector, but they didn't completely shut down that idea, so I'd be very surprised, but maybe some very slim possibility of that happening at some point. I also thought their comments were interesting on autonomy. This is where I kind of disagreed with what they had said. They are pursuing level 3 autonomy. They believe that that can give people a lot of their time back in terms of not having to be necessarily fully attentive in select circumstances. I don't know that you can really get to that point without having a more full featured autonomy, but I suppose it's possible, though it seems kind of unlikely to be a winning long-term strategy for Ford, though with Argo AI, that's where they're working on more of a level 5 type of autonomy. So those are the most interesting things for me. Let me know if there's something else for you. And then the last item for today, Elon Musk has filed a confidential countersuit against Twitter in regard to the acquisition battle. Pretty unsurprising, and not much we can say about it since the contents right now are confidential, likely due to the inclusion of things that Twitter wouldn't want published, just for normal confidentiality reasons. So apparently we may get to see a redacted version of that once the court has an opportunity to go through it. So keep an eye out for that, but that will wrap it up for today. As always, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe and sign up for notifications. Also find me on Twitter at Tesla Podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Tuesday
What's that? Silicon Dan says, watch the top one. I know, but who are you? Fallen since the 3rd of June this year. Something's not. Account created 3rd of June. Fuck off, man. It's a fuck. Kate, post it. Kate, where? Right, here we go. It's a fuck, man. If you could just click on that, that's great now. So we have all your details here. Thank you very much. This is official.
Astrophysicist, and I'm here with Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist and host of the popular Star Talk.
Wait a minute.
Told us, astrophysicist and host of...
Where's Mark Zuckerberg? Is he Canadian? What accent has he got? The way he said host?
Renowned astrophysicist and host of...
Host. Is that actually how Americans talk?
And host of...
Host. What is that? What accent is that? Slight English right here. Anyway.
Of the popular Star Talk. So what has this all told us about the universe that we didn't already know?
It's opening a window to the universe that we didn't previously have access to. So for me, the future of the James Webb Space Telescope is not what questions it can answer that we've already posed. It's what questions it will answer that we don't yet know to ask. Now, this is the gas sloughed off in the dying stages of a
There you are.
star. And the bit of light you see in the middle is the leftover star once it's given up its outer layers.
Very interesting.
And those are stars sitting right on our noses, here in our own...
Can I just say something? I'm not utterly cynical. I don't look at this and go, oh look, this isn't the best graphics that I have ever seen, therefore it's all shite and completely fucking useless. There would be a use for this. There's a use for this.
Between the galaxies, for example, if you look at the arc over there.
Right, pointing at things and that kind of thing.
Every single smudge in this image that does not have spikes is a distant galaxy just like our own.
Right.
What do you think of this whole experience?
Any place you hadn't gone before.
Right, I don't know what see these see the horns moving about like that. What is causing that today? That is he holding onto a couple of things, or is it a camera that's actually watching the movements? 2 controllers maybe. Right. Or hand thing. Right, 2 controllers.
If you get to go inside, I don't see why that wouldn't be the next best thing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really interested in kind of where this helps take education.
Yeah, I think the applications are...
You're interesting fucking end, mate.
This has been super fun. Thank you for doing this.
Okay, Marcus, great to meet you. This one, there you go.
There you are. So I don't look at that and go, God, look at the graphics, they're so bad, this is never going to happen, it's awful. Why would anybody want to use that? I'm not like that. It just doesn't seem enough. In 2022, it just doesn't seem enough. It's not enough. Why don't we go into that? Why don't we do that? And that will help us with this thing. How about a fucking video call? I know, but how could you point at things? Well, you could just go, right, you see the red thing there that you got just behind you? This here? Aye, that there. That or, draw, or a wee pointer on the screen, that there. Video, we see people. It's just a pain in the... I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't mean to be negative. I know a lot of people, especially you younger people, are like, but this is something for us to look forward to. It's not going to work out. Alright? It never does. The internet was good. This is pish. That's pish. But internet in general, very good. An amazing achievement. What an amazing achievement of humanity. But that, I just don't see it. I'm sorry. Bye for now.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now, part of what makes PC gaming great is cheap game keys for older titles. I must have bought about 20 game keys over the past couple of months and it's cost me no more than £30. Some of these games are ones I've been meaning to play for years and others I just completely missed when they came out. One such example is the game I'm playing today. I actually had no idea just how much of a big deal this one was, and still is, until I started looking into why it feels so great to play despite coming out in 2005. I mean, there have been paper play was playing today. Missed when they came out. Been meaning to play for no more than 20 game keys over the past couple of months, and it's cost me no more than £30. Some of these games are ones I've been meaning to play for years, and others I just completely missed when they came out. One such example is the game I'm playing today. I actually had no idea just how much of a big deal this one was, and still is, until I started looking into why it feels so great to play despite coming out in 2005. I mean, there have been papers written and lectures given on this game, not to mention numerous retrospective videos made, and I hate to be that guy, but when something is seemingly universally loved, I'm always the person that just can't see what all the fuss is about. But not in this case. This is Fear, a psychological horror game that was way ahead of its time, both visually and in terms of AI. My usual method of dealing with on-screen enemies includes identifying their position, hiding behind something solid, and then aiming at where I'm pretty certain they're going to pop their head up from. In Fear, however, this quickly backfired as I found that some enemies rushed me, some tried to flank me, and others literally jumped through windows to try and get me. You know that episode of The Simpsons where Principal Skinner just walks through the river to get to Bart like an unstoppable Terminator? It's like that. It feels like the enemies in Fear need to get to you, not just that they want to. While it's fair to say that the graphics do look outdated by today's standards, the volumetric lighting, soft shadows, and dark environments mean that this is still very effective at being creepy. It's the sort of horror that makes you go all cold and shivery, rather than the sort that makes you jump across your room or throw your keyboard and mouse across the desk. If any of the aforementioned factors were subpar, then Fear wouldn't have stood the test of time so well. This perfectly encapsulates the notion of the saying, your eyes are playing tricks on you. Thanks to the player character's own shadow, you'll swear you've seen something that might not have been there, but other times a smaller silhouette will sweep across the screen or appear on a wall next to you, and you'll think, well, time to call it a day, as you remove the entirety of the game files from your hard drive and never play it again. During the brief moments that I spent not being, well, time to something that might not have been there, but other times a smaller silhouette will sweep across the screen or appear on a wall next to you, and you'll think, well, time to call it a day, as you remove the entirety of the game files from your hard drive and never play it again. During the brief moments that I spent not being scared of my own outline, I was able to notice and appreciate other things that make this feel like a far newer game than it is, like the water effects, for example. Now, even I can't spend more than a few minutes talking about how good water looks, but if you think this looks convincing in 2022, imagine what people thought 17 years ago. The way it ripples and reacts is borderline mesmerising. All of this did come at a price almost 2 decades ago, of course. While the game could run on a wide range of hardware if you managed your expectations, even higher-end cards of the time benefited from the soft shadow setting remaining disabled. Here is how a couple of older top-tier cards handled the game in the benchmark at an old-school resolution in pairing with a retro system. So you might think that in comparison, and despite using the highest available options, a modern gaming PC like my i5-12400 and RTX 3050 combo would be able to hit a much higher frame rate than what you're currently seeing. Now don't get me wrong, the performance is fine and 80 FPS is nothing to complain about, but a 2005 game should surely do better than this, right? My initial thoughts were that the game couldn't utilise the extra hardware because it didn't know how. After all, this game came out when single-core processors with a Norman graphics cards had megabytes of VRAM, not gigabytes. It's clear from the MSI Afterburner overlay that neither the CPU or GPU are doing much at all. The i5 is sitting at around 10% usage and the 3050 at around 30% a lot of the time, though this does increase. I did think that maybe the soft shadow options were causing some sort of problem. After all, I had read about their demanding nature, and we even get a warning telling us that this is a high-end feature, but I'm pretty sure that these days, high-end with this game would probably refer to something that's at least a GTX 750 Ti. And my theory just didn't make sense considering the reported low hardware usage. After a couple more minutes of contemplation, I decided to head over to PC Gaming Wiki, which is often my first go-to site for any problems I have regarding older games, and sure enough there was a high FPS patch listed on Fear's wiki page. Increasing the FPS is as simple as downloading a .dll file and extracting it to the game's directory. There are also other patches available such as sound quality and text scaling fixes. Of course I didn't realise that the high frame rate patch existed before recording all of the previous gameplay, but here is how the game runs now. It is a night and day difference, and this is essential to anyone playing on a higher than 60Hz monitor because without it, the game seems to max out at around 80 to 90 FPS, at least with the hardware I'm using. Don't get me wrong, this does still play fine and feel fine, so if you want to fire it out of the box, so to speak, then you can do so without making any modifications, and you'll still have a good time with Fear in 2022. It is nice to be able to run the game in line with how other titles from almost 20 years ago performed, though. That's all for this one, then. I hope you've enjoyed this retrospective look back at Fear, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing how it runs with modern hardware in 2022. I certainly recommend purchasing it, not necessarily through Steam if you have to buy all of the games in the bundle, but perhaps elsewhere that offers cheaper CD keys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, leave a dislike. Perspective look back at Fear, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing how it runs with modern hardware in 2022. I'd certainly recommend purchasing it, not necessarily through Steam if you have to buy all of the games in the bundle, but perhaps elsewhere that offers cheaper CD keys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like.
It was a little after 6 in the evening. We were coming out of the woods here up this road, and we saw this glow through the trees. And when we got in the opening here, we could see this object hovering over here, stopped the truck, and, you know, everybody, wow.
What did it look like? How big was it? How bright?
It was about 20 feet, 25 feet in diameter, about 8 or 10 feet thick. It was a disc-shaped object, glowing golden color. I could hear a sound when I got up closer. But it suddenly got louder and started to move in a kind of a wobbling motion, and that scared me, and I decided, you know, I'd better get out of there. And so I raised up to go, and I just felt a numbing shock, a kind of and blacked out. My coworkers, the guys in the truck, said they saw a beam come out of this craft and hit me in the head and the chest and knocked me backward. The next thing I knew, I was regaining consciousness, apparently inside the craft, and I was in a great deal of pain. I didn't just come to right, snap to. And I discovered these 3 creatures standing over me. I lashed out at them. I was backing away from them, and they came towards me. And I was really hysterical, and I screamed at them to get away from me. And they just stopped at one point there and just turned around and left the room, just all at once. I found myself on the pavement outside of the town of Heber. I was laying beside the road, and when I looked up, I saw a craft hovering above. I found myself on the pavement outside of the town of Heber. He just stopped at one point there and just turned around and left the room, just all at once. I found myself on the pavement outside of the town of Heber. I was laying beside the road, and on the pavement outside of the town of Heber. I was laying beside the road, and when I looked up, I saw a craft hovering above the road there, and then it just shot straight up outside. Well, if they had evidence, more conclusive than what I, am able to gather from what happened to me, then I would be willing to accept it. It's just that I accept the beings in a craft explanation because it just works better, it fits better. It's so much, it's obvious that that's what it was to me.
He spent 5 days on a UFO, he thinks. Now, there is some small time loss in there, but for all intent and purposes, he spent 5 days on there. He did come in contact with some beings that are human-like, but they weren't humans, and he had quite an experience. He said he doesn't remember anything about a blue light in the first encounter last Wednesday. The blue light that they saw, he said, at that instant, felt like he got hit in the forehead with a baseball bat, and it knocked him out. And he woke up, he was aboard one of the craft. And they never spoke to him. They led him around by the hand. They wouldn't talk to him. They showed him this and that. And when they let him off, he woke up.
Did he say they were friendly creatures?
Smiled all the time, friendly, never harmed him. They don't up.
Did he say they were friendly creatures?
Smiled all the time, friendly, never harmed him. They were just as nice as they could be. But there was a total lack of communication, either verbal or mental.
And he said that's what made him so upset, that he couldn't speak with them.
That's what he was very, very disgusted about that, nervous and just plain disgust, the chance of a lifetime, and they wouldn't cooperate.
Obviously, Dwayne, you know your own brother probably better than anybody else. Do you believe the story?
I've never seen him play a practical joke in his adult life.
Obviously, Dwayne, you know your own brother probably better than anybody else. Do you believe the story?
I've never seen him play a practical joke in his adult life.
The Travis Walton abduction case is one of the most famous cases in ufology. Until recently, Walton himself has been the only one on the public stage telling the story from that night in November of 1975. This past February at the International UFO Conference, Walton was joined on stage after more than 30 years by John Goulet and Steve Pierce, two of the workers present with Walton at the time of this event.
He was just hovering there in the air. You got hit by the light. This blue screen light came out and it zapped him. I had no idea if you were dead or alive. They were going to hang us for murder. They thought he was dead. Some people believe you and some people don't. And the people who don't are awful hard on you.
Since the conference, Pierce has received a considerable amount of attention. Many, including Open Minds, have told the story of Pierce and what he has experienced since that night and since the conference. Pierce has come to Open Minds in what he claims will be his last interview to set the record straight on some of what he feels are misconceptions with his story.
I didn't leave Arizona because of Philip Glass. You know, I didn't leave Texas because of Philip Glass. I left those places for, you know, I left Arizona because I was tired of being harassed by everybody. I can't sleep at night. I stress all the time. I'm scared of the woods. I cannot sleep in the woods by myself. In my family, they do not believe me. That's what really hurts the most. My ex-wife used to tell me not to tell nobody because they thought I was nuts. You know, don't be going to somebody's house and telling the story because it's embarrassing. They think you're nuts. You know, I don't even believe she really believed the story.
Pierce was only 17 when the occurrence took place, and local law enforcement subjected all involved to a polygraph test to attempt to find the truth. Pierce passed the test. However, the barrage of skepticism had a deep effect on him.
I don't lie, and I passed the polygraph test. We proved that we saw a UFO, you know. But no matter, I don't lie.
Attempt to find the truth. Pierce passed the test. However, the barrage of skepticism had a deep effect on him.
I don't lie, and I passed the polygraph test. We proved that we saw a UFO, you know. But no matter what you come up with, they're not going to believe you. The people who believe are going to believe, and the people who don't aren't going to believe.
His life since then has centered on distancing himself from what took place. Steve, which is actually his middle name, went back to using his true first name, Jeff.
Well, I started driving a truck, and I started using my first name instead of my middle name because Stephen is my middle name, and I got completely away from it because people would laugh at you, thinking this was a hoax. You know, I mean, the first 5 days they thought we were murderers, and then after that they thought it was a hoax. Cop came to the door and said, "I'll give you." Phillips Glass said he'd give you $10,000 if you say it's a hoax, you know. So he left. I just blew it off.
Philip J. Glass, known for his skepticism regarding UFOs, continued to harass Steve over the years through telephone calls and eventually flying to Texas to try to coerce Steve in person. Pierce has maintained his story through it all.
He found me in Texas, and he was calling me up and saying that he'd give me this money if I say it was a hoax, you know. And I was already mad at Travis and Mike, you know, so I was going to go ahead and take the money because it was 78 and I had, you know, a bunch of little kids and I needed the money, but I didn't take it.
So
he found me in Texas
in person. Pierce has maintained.
So he left. I just blew it off.
Philip J. Glass, known for his skepticism regarding UFOs, continued to harass Steve over the years through telephone calls and eventually flying to Texas to try to coerce Steve in person. Pierce has maintained his story through it all.
He found me in Texas, and he was calling me up and saying that he'd give me this money if I say it was a hoax, you know. And I was already mad at Travis and Mike, you know, so I was going to go ahead and take the money because it was 78 and I had, you know, a bunch of little kids and I needed the money, but I didn't take it.
So what was it that made Pierce come forward after all these years? Through all of the disbelief that Pierce has had to endure, one very important person has and will always stand by his side.
I got involved back in it because of my daughter, because she's really a believer. We was watching the film and my name was changed. So I told her that's me, and she wanted me to prove it, you know. So that's how I got a hold of Travis last summer for the first time. She reads UFO books. She's really into this. She really thinks there's, you know, she believes it.
Fighting the disbelief has taken its toll on Steve. He continues to stick to his story, even though his skeptics continue to pursue him. His daughter's support rejuvenates his spirit and strengthens his resolve. Speaking at the conference has opened a new group of supporters for Steve as well, a group of eyes and ears that appreciate and believe his experience.
It makes you feel good that the people there believe you, you know, because all my life people haven't believed me.
Since coming forward at the conference, he claims that he has again been asked to change his story.
I've been offered money to say it was a hoax again.
Again, you have?
Yeah.
By?
I'm not telling.
Okay.
This is my last conference. I mean, my last interview, so I'm out of this.
What Steve Pierce experienced that night can be read in his eyes and felt in his presence. His stare shows a man who's experienced his share of trials and battled with the doubt cast upon him.
You got all these people out there saying it's not true, you know, and that really gets to you. You know, you're a liar, you know, and I'm not a liar.
Hey, Pete.
Hey.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Can't wait to see what you're packing this time.
I brought some goodies. You do photogrammetry.
Now, that's good. So we invited technologist Pete Kelsey back to perform a final high-tech 3D photogrammetry drone scan of the entire ranch. Well, I'm excited to have you out here. It'd be great to take you back to the Mesa.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Photogrammetry is a process where thousands of high-definition photographs are taken of an area of interest and combined to create a detailed three-dimensional map, potentially revealing features that aren't visible to the naked eye. We want to get a 3D model of every part of the ranch to see if any anomalies appear. If something shows up, maybe it will help us determine what is behind all the UAPs and the other phenomena that we documented here.
This looks great. So once all the data I have collected is post-processed in a nice, neat package, I hand that to Eric, and he does the heavy lifting, and that is spending hours and hours going through this data because it's all visual. All right, I got all green lights here, spinning up. Literally, it comes down to putting eyes on the model and looking for anything interesting.
The day after Pete Kelsey conducted his photogrammetry scan of the ranch, he sent Eric all of his compiled data files for us to review.
Well, I've got only about 1 billion data points. Of course, this comes out of Pete Kelsey's recent survey work. This is a three-dimensional model. It's point cloud data. What it is individual points that have been located through a complex algorithm coming out of all these thousands of pictures that he's taken. So you take all those images, you stitch them together, you get a three-dimensional model.
That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. So I've been diving into this, and it turns out there are some very interesting artifacts showing up. Whoa, you might...
I just saw.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the sky.
Oh, right there. Yes.
Oh, weird.
Yes.
That looks like that's a whole bunch of points right there.
Oh, it is.
Well, what caused it to do that if that's up in the air?
That's the question. Look at this structure. This phantom structure that's sticking up in the sky. This is odd. I got to tell you, this Kelsey's recent survey.
And looking for anything interesting.
The day after Pete Kelsey conducted his photogrammetry scan of the ranch, he sent Eric all of his compiled data files for us to review.
Well, I've got only about 1 billion data points. Of course, this comes out of Pete Kelsey's recent survey work. This is a three-dimensional model. It's point cloud data. What it is individual points that have been located through a complex algorithm coming out of all these thousands of pictures that he's taken. So you take all those images, you stitch them together, you get a three-dimensional model.
That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. So I've been diving into this, and it turns out there are some very interesting artifacts showing up.
Whoa,
you might...
I just saw.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the sky.
Oh, right there. Yes.
Oh, weird.
Yes.
That looks like that's a whole bunch of points right there.
Oh, it is.
Well, what caused it to do that if that's up in the air?
That's the question. Look at this structure. This phantom structure that's sticking up in the sky. This is odd. I got to tell you, wow, I think it's really prominent from here. It's like it's some sort of big feature. It looks more than 100 feet in here. That's nuts. I connected with Pete, and I've also spoken with the vendor of this software, asking, is this common? And the answer that I've gotten is no.
Really?
This is not a common thing in the terrestrial surveys like this.
Are there any other areas in his survey that have this sort of artifact to them?
Yes. I want to show you something at another location that we visited that is part of this survey.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There.
So let me spin us around. I noticed a couple of things here.
Well, now look at this.
And you may observe the same thing I have.
So line those two up, and where are they pointing?
This feature, this artifact, the largest stone that was part of the stone circle, and that prominent thing that's jutting up further to the south.
You have 3 points in a line.
Wow. Interestingly and somewhat mysteriously, the anomalies to the south and to the north of the stone circle align perfectly with that large center stone in the stone circle itself. Could be a coincidence, but it sure is suggestive.
What are the odds of that?
Right. We've learned not to ignore any anomalous features in our data, even if we have no idea what to make of them.
So that, to me, seems like you've almost drawn a ray from the other anomaly through this stone to this anomaly. We've got a line being drawn here. Then what is that line pointing to? What is the line there for? We need to mark these spots. Because, what if this is somehow mapping an anomaly that we need to investigate? Could Pete Kelsey have actually captured visual evidence that there really are portals on Skinwalker Ranch? And could it help explain why we see UAPs appear and then suddenly disappear?
Well, we owe it to ourselves to follow up on every data anomaly that we come across, particularly when they're as prominent as the ones we've named.
Eric, the data is absolutely fascinating. We need to meet with Brandon and review this and everything else we've learned this year. I think we've just got to do that. Follow up on this data.
Yeah, let's do it.
Greetings, everyone.
Hey.
I think everyone would agree this past year has been the most productive year in history relative to the investigation at Skinwalker Ranch. We launched this phase of the investigation with former Governor Herbert. His interest and ongoing engagement with this effort has been an important part of really elevating the formality of this research and how important it is. We also have joining us today investigative journalist George Knapp, best known as the leading journalist documenting the reality of not only the ranch, but this type of phenomena. I'd like to say, Governor, by the way, you have a really beautiful state, but it's an awfully weird state. I think today will be a very eye-opening day and briefing for our guests.
Brandon, this next one you have yet to see because it just happened to us. Really? Yeah. It is so bizarre.
I think it'd be a good idea to get everyone's eyes on this.
Please, let's do it.
This is a three-dimensional model of Pete Kelsey's recent survey work. Pete scanned the entire Mesa, and look at this structure.
Wow. Incredible. Wow. This looks like a solid structure in the sky.
Yes. This object, whatever it is, it's really fascinating. What are we looking at? We don't know at this point.
Well, we need to talk about the reality of what we're dealing with in this investigation. Based on all of these combined events, how do we move forward? I think everyone would agree that we move forward having a multidisciplinary, diverse approach to really tackling this problem set and taking the data that drives us in the right direction to uncover the secret of what lies on this ranch, both above and below. It appears we are triggering contact in some way, shape, or form, and it is manifesting itself above the ranch in a very profound way. We're dealing with forces, we're dealing with phenomena that redefines
not only our vision of reality, but potentially even history itself.
I'm very excited about the next chapter. I think you've got momentum. Again, like Dr. Taylor was talking about, this should be a scalpel approach. Eric, you've mentioned how we've got to be careful about what we're doing here so we don't damage the information we'll find.
Very much so. You guys have made breakthroughs on so many different bases, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Well, thank you, Governor, for your time and attention, and thank you, George, for joining us. Glad to be here. I want to thank everyone at this table for your sacrifice, for your professionalism, for your talents, your expertise. We are opening new doors, new paths to explore. I look forward to the path ahead, and we'll be in touch with you regarding next steps. Thank you. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. George, meet you. Yeah. As we wrap up this year's investigation at Skinwalker Ranch, we all feel like we're getting much closer to finding some real answers about this place. I mean, when I first came to the ranch, I'd never even seen a UAP. We got something, hold on. What is that? But we witnessed and documented phenomena up in the sky. What the hell is that in the sky?
I think it's big and spherical.
It has changed my entire outlook on what I thought was possible. Who knows what we could ultimately reveal?
Oh, my.
We owe it to ourselves and the entire world to figure out the truth behind this ranch. It takes courage to confront these topics. I believe as we brave that territory, as we have the courage to delve deeper, both literally and figuratively, into Skinwalker Ranch, we're going to find that not only will we come to an understanding of the dark forces that we're interacting with, but also the nature of our world and our reality.